Hello, how are you doing today? I'm good, thanks. Lovely day in West Wales, UK. I hope you're having a good day wherever you guys are. In this video, we're going to go through all the star signs from Aries right the way through to Pisces. 3 cards for every star sign. There's going to be 2 tarot cards from the Starman Tarot, and for each sign also 1 oracle card. You can pick a card, you can pick all 3. It's entirely up to you. I want to say a big thank you to all the people who've subscribed recently, actually. I was moaning in my last video about kind of losing subscribers, and they've gone up. Lots of people have come over, so I'm very grateful to you guys for coming and taking a look. Hope you're going to enjoy what you find on the channel. And also big thanks to people who've been donating through Ko-fi. It's ko-fi.com/Andy's Readings. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or buy the channel a coffee, you know, so I can kind of invest in amazing new things and make better videos for you. And thanks very much to everyone who's donated. That there have been a few donations lately, and I am very, very grateful to you. In any case, take a look at ko-fi.com/Andy's Readings, because there are pictures of kind of the local area, you know, where I live, the trees, the animals, my chickens, things like that. And I'm going to keep uploading new pictures to that as well as time goes on. Just because, you know, it's always changing, and all the pictures I've done recently have been kind of darkish weather, you know, and trees with no leaves on them. But it's a cycle that always comes up in readings, so I'm sure we'll be talking about the cycles of nature today. But you know, just as the seasons change, so do things like the crazy world situations that are going on at the moment, and of course there are more than one. Anyway, let's get stuck in, and let's do the very first reading for the sign of Aries. Just a quick cat shot here. We haven't seen Marcy for ages, and she's jumped up on my lap. You going to look at the camera, Marcy? There she is. Wow, she's beautiful, isn't she? Good old Marcy. And Tinkerbell is asleep on the bed. So Aries, which card are you going to pick, or are you going to pick all 3, which in my humble opinion is quite a wise thing to do? We've got card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3, which is an oracle card. Okay, but the first 2 are tarot cards. They're from the Starman Tarot, which has wonderful artwork, actually inspired by some work that was done for David Bowie. The cat's scratching to get out. They never give up. Excuse me a minute. Ah, that's better. Right, just got to let the cat out or a mess might happen. So card number 1 for the sign of Aries is this one. It is the 2 of Wands. So action really is needed. Action is going to happen when we get the 2 of Wands as well. You might as well go with the flow, because it really is going to happen. There's nothing new to find out, Aries, at this point. Sure, life is full of discoveries, and you'll discover things as you go along with the journey, as you go with the flow. But there's nothing new you can find out that's going to inform you and sort of leave you in a better place to make decisions before you actually make that big number 1 decision and actually get things moving. Now, we've got this very spiritual character here up at the top of the card, looking down on the scene, and that's showing really that you call it whatever you want, the afterlife, the spirit realms, the divine, the universe is looking down on your efforts and is willing to give support. But of course, you've got to reach up to make that support happen. So it's time to get your boots on, Aries. Time to really start getting things going. If we look up closer, we've got these teepees in the background here, and that's another sign of spiritual significance, because of course in the Native American tradition, where teepees are a way of life, they link very closely to what they call celestial teepees, you know, the teepee of the Great Council, the grandfathers, where they all meet in the spirit realms to bring their love and bring their support together and actually work on things. So if you drew card number 1, or if you drew all 3, there is something going on up there to support you in your journey, to help you along your path, to light your path, I guess. Card number 2, Ace of Pentacles. Now, the aces are always very alchemical, and this card in particular, because it's the Ace of Pentacles, is like a flash of creative inspiration, you know. And so if you picked all 3, this one is the heart of the matter, really. If you just picked the 2 tarot cards, this is the outcome for you. Gosh, it gets complicated, doesn't it? I'm sure you know which cards you picked and why. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles, creative inspiration. Follow it out though, okay? Because this does actually follow on from the Two of Wands in a big way. We've got this 5-pointed star up at the top here showing earth, air, fire, water working together under the command, as it were, the auspices, as it were, of the divine. So your inspiration is divinely inspired. It really is. Go along with the flow, keep it going. That's really been the theme for both of these cards for Aries so far. That's card number 2. For number 3, we've got an oracle card, and this is from a deck, beautiful deck, called Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, and this is the card we've got. It's Akasha. So we're kind of looking back to the Akashic records. It says your guidance is divinely guided. Oh, great. That just kind of popped into my head with the Ace of Pentacles that I drew just a second ago. So even if you didn't pick all 3 cards, they do seem to be working together in this reading for the sign of Aries. So Akasha, you know, it's about records from the past. It's about past lives. It's about your past in this life. But it's really about looking forward, informed, by what's gone on before in your life. Okay, so keep looking forward, keep looking up, keep walking down the center of this great temple that's shown here, which is a representation of your journey through life. Okay, that is the sign of Aries. Let's go, and move on to the sign of Taurus. Okay, I'm moving fairly quickly because I do like to get them all into one big video if I can. Then there's something for everyone, and I do like to do something for everyone. Okay, so there are 2 tarot cards to begin with, and we'll pick an oracle card as well. So, do you want, my friends, do you want... what are we doing? I realise that the video camera flips them, so I'm going to do it the other way around, which I hope will make sense left to right. Card number 1, card number 2, tarot cards, or the oracle card, card number 3. It's entirely up to you. Card number 1 is the 10 of Cups, and this is really good news. 10 of Cups, it's a lot of longing, it's a lot of desire, it's a lot of yearning, but maybe you've moved on beyond that. Maybe things are actually going to start happening. It's all about your heart's desire. It's all about that mission that you came to the earth with, whatever your soul agreed to before you incarnated into this life. That's what's showing here. We've got this 6-pointed pattern up at the top here, showing a great deal of balance, actually, and of course the divine sort of holy fire lighting the scene up in the middle and looking like a butterfly. So things are taking off. That's what I'm saying for you guys, Taurus, if you picked card number 1. Card number 2, 5 of Wands. Ooh, there's a big fight going on here. It's kind of a pointless fight in lots of ways, but everything happens for a reason. Sometimes the reasons are hidden. In this case, sometimes, if not always, the reasons are ego-based, okay? So whatever's going on, if you've got turmoil in your own mind, try and put your ego out of the picture as you're making your decision to go forward. Nothing wrong with having an ego, nothing wrong with having a healthy ego. All I'm saying is, just don't be driven by it. If we didn't have an ego, we would be dead. Absolutely, for sure. But, you know, if you felt kind of slighted in the past, you know, something's kind of gone wrong in the past, you've been mistreated or something, just put that out of your mind, okay? Because that is actually going to cloud your decision. And that then is going to kind of cloud at least the next stage of your spiritual journey, of your walk through life, and your physical journey as well, to be quite honest. So 5 of Wands there. It is Wands, though. It is about getting things done. It is very positive in that sense. Card number 3. If you picked card number 3, it's this one. If you picked all 3, this is giving some significance to the last 2 for the sign of Taurus. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. And I've drawn this one a couple of times in the last week, so I'm sure this is the energy of the moment for a lot of people, probably not just Taurus, but I've drawn it for Taurus on this occasion. Taurus is what it's all about. And so there's a feeling of creative inspiration coming through in this card as well, and it's saying that the ideas you've got, possibly ideas that seem really, really wacky to you, are actually pointing in a positive direction. are actually going to take you somewhere. When we're trying to birth a new age, we tend to be going against the flow of life, going against the grain of life, I suppose. But it is very much all about going with the flow of what your higher self is actually guiding you to do, is actually leading you towards. And that is because we all come to this earth to birth something into the world. We never usually know exactly what it is until it's happened. And I guess it hasn't happened yet for you guys, Taurus, if you pick this card, but it's going to, okay? But stick to your guns. That's the overriding message here. Really kind of stick to your guns, hang on to your hat, and think of lots of different metaphors there, okay? But it is all about birthing a new age. If you picked all three, it does line up that way, because 10 of Cups, things are going to actually be happening along the lines of what you desire, and you desire them for a reason. There's that battle of egos going on in the middle there. But birthing a new age never happens without some kind of battling going on. That's a fact of life. It's an unfortunate fact of life, but it's a fact of life nonetheless. Okay, and that brings us to the sign of Gemini. Let's go with the sign of Gemini and see what actually comes out. And a quick shuffle. And so we're going with card number 1, card number 2. Excuse me. And we will have, if I can separate it out from the deck, we will have card number 3 as well. So you're going to pick all 3, Gemini, or are you going to pick 1, 2, or 3, or 2 of them, or any combination, whatever you want to do? Card number 1, the Prince of Wands. Here he is. So, Wands energy again, Gemini. This is all about getting things done. And because it's a court card, it's, you know, right up at the royal end of the scale here. This shows that progress is more than possible. I would say a lot of progress has actually happened, Gemini. That's the feeling of this card. Because the prince is holding up this great big fiery baton here, this great big fiery wand, showing that it's not just potential, it's actually about stuff happening. So if you pick this card, it's happening for you. You kind of got to go with the energy of the moment, you know. It's a bit like if you were sort of trying to start a car or something, or maybe, you know, a kid's roundabout in a playground. You push and push and push, and it's really heavy, and then suddenly it starts moving, and if you don't jump on quickly, it takes off without you. Okay, so grab the energy of the moment, Gemini. Actually go along with it. That's the Prince of Wands. Second card for Gemini is this one. It is the 7 of Cups. So we're back into the thought of what we actually desire, what we actually want to happen. And as I keep saying, that is all tied up with the reason we came to this earth. We have these desires for a reason. It's a celestial reason. We don't always have access to it. And we've got this very magical number 7 in the mix here. So there's things going on in terms of manifesting your desire, actually making things real for you the way they need to be. Not just the way you want it to be, but the way they need to be. Actually taking shape, actually happening, but it's behind the scenes. It's the 7 magical number, but it's, you know, it's nowhere near completion yet. There's more work to do. So, you know, don't dismiss your desires, your really heartfelt desires, okay, because you are actually moving towards it. There's a lot of pure gold in this card, and the character in the card is reaching up, and he's holding those wands up to the sky, using them like magic wands to manifest a really good outcome. That's what he's trying to do. Excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse here. So card number 3 for Gemini. It is this one. It's Lemuria. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. This is a lot like dreaming a new world into being and birthing a new age that we had for the sign of Taurus there. Very similar, but a different take on it. It's absolutely full of nature. And we can see the beautiful higher heart chakra pink colour showing up in the sky there, as it often does in the winter months. And this is quite a chilly, cold looking scene down here. So this is certainly the energy of the moment. It is not nice warm weather in the northern hemisphere at the moment. And it's kind of cooling down in the southern hemisphere at the moment. So none of us are really basking around in t-shirts at the present time. I shouldn't think anyway. But the point of that is it's a cycle. As I'm always saying, you know, things are going to warm up again. You're just going to have to reach for the skies, Gemini, to actually make it happen. Because creating on heaven on earth does not come easily, not at all. That's what the Lemurians were trying to do. And that is why Lemuria kind of just got wiped out of wiped out of modern history, so to speak. Okay, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So let's move on to the sign of Cancer and see what comes out of the tarot deck. Okay, there are 2 tarot cards. I haven't looked at them yet, but I will in a second. And let's get an oracle card as well from Rebecca Campbell's amazing Work Your Light oracle deck. And here we have one. Okay, so do you want to pick? Let's get them sorted out. This left to right thing really gets me with videos. Do you want to pick number 1, number 2, which are tarot cards, number 3, which is an oracle card, or do you want to pick all 3? That's the question. Cancer, first tarot card, card number 1 for you. If you picked card number 1, this is it. Ace of Swords. Wow, fiery energy, and it's going to get things happening. It's really going to get things moving. Of course, you've got to ground yourself. You've got to be mindful of all the elements, actually. That one really is what the Pentacles are all about. But the swords, you know, well, every suit, you have to be mindful of all the different energies that are going on in the world. As a sword card, it's... because it's an ace, you see, it has a lot to do with getting things done. That's more where the wands are at. The swords are more about deciding, you know, actually saying, right, I'm going to make this thing happen. And that is going to start you off on a new journey, Cancer. That is going to adjust the flow quite a bit, but it's going to keep the flow going, and that's the main thing. The sword is coming out of this ring of golden light here. So your inspiration, your ideas, the reason you want to make this stuff happen, Cancer, is actually very divinely orchestrated, and it's coming from a place in the higher realms to you. It's almost angelic, actually, and you can always draw the angels in to help with whatever it is you're trying to do. These flashes of fire up here kind of look like dragons or serpents or something. I don't know, they really kind of look as if they're living creatures. So the fire is real, the fire is alive, Cancer. That's what it's all about for you if you pick card number 1. Card number 2 for Cancer is this one. It's the Queen of Pentacles. So this is again, everything coming together. Actually, a lot like that last card, because the inspiration I got, the guidance I got, and I always go with guidance rather than strictly the meaning of the cards. The guidance I got for the sword card there was that it was something to do with all the elements working together. So if you picked all 3, you're really kind of blazing here. But as card number 2, it's a pentacle card, and being the Queen of Pentacles, again, we're very sort of high up in the suit. We're right into the court cards, so things are going to be happening. May not be happening perfectly, not by any means, but who's to say the king is going to be the perfectionist in this? Queens have a great deal of perfectionism about them and a lot of potential too. The colours of this card, lots and lots of pink, but it's kind of clouded, you know, there's just a little bit further to go to really make things happen. But if you picked card number 2, Cancer, this is good news, okay, because the Pentacles have everything to do with abundance. They have everything to do with a lot of things, actually, but abundance is on its way. It's close. And if it's here already, which it might be if you drew that card, actually, Cancer, if it's here already, use it wisely. Ask the angels to help you decide how to use it. You know, we always ask the angels to help us manifest what we need and bring new things into being. Ask them to guide you how to use it as well. That's a really good way to go. Card number 3 for the sign of Cancer is this one. It's called Awakening, and it says energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So the thoughts, the feelings you've been having, which seem to come out of nowhere, almost as if they weren't your own thoughts, they mean something. They're being sent to you for a reason. Follow your heart, okay? I'm not saying just kind of completely detach from yourself, but, you know, not even put yourself on the back burner, but, you know, keeping yourself in mind and keeping your own path and your own journey in mind, because that's important. That's really what it's all about. That's what you're all about. Go with the divine guidance that's coming. This character is levitating. She's completely let go of everything she was trying to hang on to in the earth, and that is the best way to get further into the ascension pattern. Okay, so that is 3 cards for the sign of Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Leo now. Okay, I always enjoy the Leo readings, actually. Something about the Leo energy just appeals to me. I guess we're all different, but, you know, it's kind of... it really is getting things done. It's no BS usually with Leo. I'm second guessing it because I haven't drawn the cards yet. So let us now draw card number 1 and card number 2 and an oracle card to go with them, just for a bit of added significance if you pick all 3, or maybe you just want to pick an oracle card. Actually, I have a friend who's a wonderful reader. She just never really gets on with the energy of the tarot, and she always, for that reason, works with oracle cards whenever she can. So let me see. Leo, is it going to be card number 1, card number 2, the tarot cards, or are you going for oracle card number 3, or are you going for all 3, which is always a wise-ish decision? We can only be so wise with our worldly mind, you see, that's the thing. And we've got the Princess of Cups here. Right, so again, very high energy, not quite the highest energy, but that's, you know, we're all linking into the highest energy all the time. That's really where we're going. We've got the Princess here, and it's Cups. Leo, it's what your heart desires. It's what you really actually want to bring into being. This is very much to do with manifestation. It really is, in a big way. Let me just take a closer look. This lady is standing tall, you see, that's the thing. She doesn't look overly confident, but she is standing tall. And that's really what you've got to do, because when it's all about what you desire, when it's all about what you want to bring into being, it's very easy to kind of feel dwarfed by the great powers of the universe. And that's not really what they're there for. You know, we are actually all a part of those great powers of the universe, and we are allowed to draw that divine power down into our own lives with our manifestational thoughts. So Leo, card number 1 there, get your manifesting head on. That's what you need to do. Card number 2 for Leo is the 8 of Cups. This is good news. Both cup cards though, okay? This is really, really a lot to do with manifestation, because they're both cup cards. They're both about what you want to bring into being. I'll say this so often, but I've got to just mention it again. We come to this earth with things that we want to do, that we want to actually bring into being, because it's something we signed up to in our soul contract before we actually came here. So there's no shame, there's no selfishness in following your heart, in trying to bring your desires into being. With the 8 of Cups here, this character looks like he's just about had it. He's kind of scratching his head. What am I going to do next? Where's it all leading? Where's it all taking me? But we have got cups all over the place in this card. In particular, this one down here, which is like a chalice. And if I bring it up close to the camera, you can see this kind of pattern is travelling between the cup here and another cup, which is in a fiery box there. So the energy is really good, Leo. The energy is really powerful, but it's kind of confusing energy if you drew that card. It's wondering which way to go, but it is the number 8. Again, it's as above, so below. It's about working with that cosmic guidance. Leo, if you picked card number 3, the tarot, the oracle card, you know, what's the difference really? Oh no, there are 2 different traditions, but I always read them in terms of what my spirit guides tell me, so I don't really mind. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. Right, that goes with everything manifestational that was showing up in those last 2 cup cards there. It really kind of bigs them up, it really backs them up, and it's essentially the same message. When we think of Anna, grandmother of Jesus, she was really deeply involved with the magic of bringing Jesus and everything that we now think about, the stories of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus into the world, even, you know, bringing Mary into the world. And Mary herself was divinely conceived, you know. And the point of that tale, you see, coming right away from what the churches go on about. I'm a great believer in Jesus, but I'm not a great believer in Christian churches. I'm really not. They're much more about people and what people want. The teachings of Jesus. It's all about light being able to come into the world. Divine light actually being able to get into you, to get into me, to light us up, to actually give light to our path, as well as our minds, our hearts, our bodies, the whole shebang. You know, it all goes together. Seeding the light, laying foundations. if you picked only this card, this is more about actually planting the seeds of what you want to do next, planting the seeds of what you want to manifest, grounding yourself, I guess, because we get nowhere without putting our roots down into the ground. That's a fact of spiritual life, most certainly. But it's planting those seeds and believing, absolutely believing that they're going to grow. If you saw my video yesterday, I put my seed potatoes in it. I just, I like to share what I do because I grow my own food, and I just like to share that with people because we can grow our own food. We are much kind of more gifted as a race of people than we think. For example, I learned to make bread many years ago now, and I make my own bread. It's actually not difficult, but growing up, I thought it must be magic or something because I'd never actually seen anyone make bread. I'd seen people making cakes, my mother, my grandmother making cakes, and I joined in and helped as a child as well. And I sort of knew how that worked, but how would you make a thing like bread? Seemed very confusing, and I kind of thought you could only do it with a factory. And then one day someone said to me, well, of course you can do it yourself. How do you think it was invented? And I learned to do it. And it's very often the stuff you think you can't do that turns out to be the thing that you're actually best at, because it's that wanting to do it, it's that desire to make a thing real that really gets it happening. Virgo, we're on to the sign of Virgo. I've got 2 tarot cards here. Let's just turn over this one for an oracle card to go with it as well. So we've got card number 1 for Virgo, card number 2 for Virgo, or card number 3. Which one are you drawn to, Virgo, or are you drawn to all 3? That's the question. Let's go with card number 1. It's number 14. It's Temperance, and it's come up reversed. It's such a very sort of artistic, very fulsome painting on this card. I'm going to turn it the right way up so you can see it. But let's bear in mind it came up reversed. So you might have to crack an egg or 2 or 3 or 4 or more to make an omelette to actually get things happening. This is calling for you kind of not to go out of balance. You never really want to do that. But it's saying things are running out of whack a bit, and sometimes to actually turn things around, you've got to understand how they went out of whack in the first place. So Virgo, think of that. Think of, what isn't actually going with your flow in this life? What are you actually having to be a part of? What are you actually having to do that doesn't fit in with where you're at? Think about that and hold that mindset, that I can't think of the word now, but just hold that desire to turn things round, to be more positive and to be going in a better direction for you. Hold that thought in your mind if you pick card number 1. Card number 2 is the 7 of Wands. So we're into the idea of getting things going again. This is kind of quite a decent bit of the journey through the Wands cards, but we're nowhere near the end yet. There are still many Wands before you actually get to the King of Wands. So the journey's on. It is happening. But that's the message. It really is happening. You really can get things done. I do have to turn these around and have a look at them myself because the images are so intricately painted in these cards. It's artwork that was inspired by David with an E on the end, De Angelis, and it's artwork he did for David Bowie. That's really behind the style of creating these cards. So, very intricate picture here with the 7 of Wands. This character is absolutely golden. See, now this is making me think of your higher self, Virgo. Really be willing to trust your higher self, because whatever's going on in earthly terms at the moment may not be slowing you down, but it's not making life any easier. So to really make sense of a situation, to turn a situation around, Virgo, then, rely on your higher self and think about speaking your truth, thinking about your truth, which is what the turquoise at the top of the card is pointing to. All very manifestational in this week's readings, actually. So, third card for Virgo is this one. It's the Age of Light Oracle card from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light deck. It says, you've been training for this for lifetimes. So, very manifestational again. It's the things we don't believe we can do that we really want to do. The things that seem like they're beyond our wildest dreams, but actually make the most sense once we get stuck into doing them. This lady is reaching up. She's within a pyramid of light there. So, Virgo, this is telling you, there is that pyramid of light. There is all that positivity around, and you really are going to be able to make stuff happen the way you need to make it happen. And what she's doing here to manifest things, she's put her arms up and she's kind of making them the shape of the pyramid. I have to duck down a bit. She's kind of making the shape of the pyramid as a way of getting herself aligned with the cosmic energies. So Virgo, you might feel like, it's all a bit too much and, maybe you're not going to make it. We all have those thoughts, When I first was told that I was going to be a spiritualist medium, I tried to manifest it, and I always tried to think positively about it. But occasionally, along the way, I would think, what if this isn't actually meant to be? Because the forces of the universe will always work with your higher self for the highest good. What if I'm just not meant to be going this way with it? Then surely it's not going to work. And it's kind of the wrong way to think, okay? Because if you're actually on the path and things aren't seeming to work out, you really need to call in that manifestational energy. You really need to get in touch with the design, with the divine. With the divine design, I think those words go together. And just kind of align yourself with this pyramid format, with this spiritual way of thinking. Okay, Virgo. There is Cancer, there is Leo, there is Virgo. What are we going to have for the sign of Libra? Let us find out. Libra, Libra, Libra. You are next. So what have we for the sign of Libra? As two came out together from the tarot deck, so I guess they go together. That'll make a good card 1 and card 2. And what are we going to bring out for the sign of Libra from Rebecca Campbell's amazing Work Your Light deck? Okay, there we have one. So let's go. We've got card number 1, card number 2, tarot cards, or the oracle card number 3. Which one are you drawn to? Are you drawn to all 3, Libra? No problem if you're drawn to all 3. They're all for everyone, really, okay? Anyway, if you picked all 3 or number 1, card number 1 is number 5 from the Major Arcana. It's the Hierophant. This really, essentially, is asking you to consult your higher self to think what's actually going to work in this life. We very rarely can really come up with concrete answers about the whole path of life, about the whole process of life, just from what we know in our conscious mind. This is asking you to consult your subconscious mind, okay? Maybe you're dreaming things into being at the moment. Maybe you're aware of dreams. Maybe dreams aren't going on for you. It's different strokes for different folks. Everyone is different. If you're not really kind of getting dream inspiration at the moment, let yourself daydream, okay? And please, as you're going to sleep in the evenings, ask your guides to send you some inspiration. The colours keep changing all the time. I'm sort of green one minute and white the next minute. Very strange colours thing going on here with my camera, but there we are. I'm learning to use it. And maybe I should consult my higher self about that. But that's what the Hierophant is all about. We've got these kind of celestial arms reaching up in this pattern, which is very reminiscent of the Reiki Association symbol here. So I'm going to say healing is a part of this, and that's an important thing to remember, because whatever we're trying to manifest is always going to be healing the world in some way, if not healing ourselves directly. In fact, I'm sure the two go together, Virgo. That's card number 1. Card number 2, number 21, Major Arcana as well. So let me see, Libra. This is really kind of, things are going places for you in quite a big way at the moment, because we've got 2 Major Arcana cards on the trot here. And this one is the World. This one is saying you can have everything you really want. In other words, well, I suppose not everything, but you can choose what you want from the menu of life. So don't hold back, Libra. It's always good to be trying to bring things into balance in that Libran way. That is the most positive thing you can say about Libran energy, actually. It's always trying to bring things into balance. balance. And in that sense, it fits in with the plan of the universe, you know, because the universe is always trying to balance itself. That's what gets the energy going, that brings positive change. Changes of all kinds, Libra, but you want it to be positive change. So take note of the higher heart chakra pink that we've got here, and take note of this kind of third eye image that we've got at the top in the middle. Okay, look inside yourself, ask what is going to be, you know, for the highest, best good as you go forward. But do go forward, okay, because the world card says you can. And card number 3, the oracle card we've got here, is Answer the Call. It says, what is your soul calling you to do? Right, that's really something to think about. That works with the Hierophant, actually, consulting your inner self, consulting your inner soul, all the higher feelings you've got, really getting in touch with your subconscious mind, actually. And this is a very powerful image, you know. This character is sitting here on what looks to be a rock. It looks like a nice rock, though, and there's a sort of suggestion of a fish shape going on here. I'm looking at it in my camera screen, and it's all a little bit blurred, so I'm kind of seeing the shapes behind the actual real images. Yeah, very fish-like shape, that. Okay, so, you know, things are going swimmingly, as rich British people used to say. In other words, things are moving along, things are positive, and there's a wonderful, it's either a sunrise or a sunset here. But if it's a sunrise, that's bringing a wonderful new light into things. If it's a sunset, then you're going into all the magical possibilities of the night and the things that can happen. That's up to you. That depends, Libra, on where you actually are in your journey at the moment. But answer that call, really. You are being called to, you know, some kind of higher purpose. And if you answer that call, you get more closely in touch with whatever it is you're trying to manifest, I guess, and you draw in the universal energy that much more strongly into your life. So with that, we will move on to the sign of Scorpio and see what comes out for Scorpio. Okay, there are 2 tarot cards. And we will also bring out, I'm going to live dangerously and cut the deck to get card number 3 from the oracle deck here. So what have we got? Card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, all 3, 2 of them. What do you want? What are you drawn to? Go with the flow of, you know, whatever you feel called to call on me to pull for you. Card number 1, Major Arcana. It's the Chariot, so it's a spiritual journey. It's really going places in a big way. It's number 7 in the Major Arcana, so we're not too far along the journey of the Major Arcana here. It goes all the way up to 21, so there is a lot of progress needs to be made. But the good news about the Chariot is that progress is not just going to be made, it's started being made at the moment. It's actually, you know, it's in the melting pot. Things are going to happen. But with the old melting pot, sometimes when you melt things, bits of junk, bits of things that shouldn't be in there float to the surface, and you have to scoop them off to kind of keep it pure and keep it real, so that whatever you eventually make with the stuff in the melting pot turns out to be for the best. We've got what looks like a waterfall to me in the background, and it's like a waterfall of light coming down from the clouds, and plenty of waterfalls from the clouds, particularly in Wales, UK, actually, all over the world, I know, but we really get heavily rained on here a lot, and it's not really a bad thing. You know, I was moaning in my video the other day about the mud and how it puts people off, but it really needn't. It really shouldn't put people off. It shouldn't be seen as a bad thing, because it's water, it's life, it actually makes things happen. So, really going with the flow in a big way. And card number 1 there for the sign of Scorpio. Card number 2 for Scorpio, Major Arcana again. It keeps on coming up. Okay, this one is number 2. It's the High Priestess. So, we're actually allowed, Scorpio, if we drew this card, we're actually allowed into the place we're trying to get into, cosmically, spiritually, maybe, you know, in a worldly way. That depends who you are. Different strokes with different folks. But that's where the flow is taking you, somewhere really positive. We can't tell exactly what's going on behind the High Priestess here, but there is this great shaft of light appearing from the sky, and we've got this pulsating energy of the universe going back and forth above us in unknown ways. You know, we can't really see where we're headed exactly, but it is a beautiful place. It's where we need to go. So if you're feeling a bit confused, Scorpio, just keep on going, okay? We tend to find ourselves doing the right things in life, or at least doing what we're meant to do in life. It's not always the right thing, but when it's the wrong thing, there's a lesson to learn there, and the soul needs to learn that lesson. It's all part of what we signed up to. Excuse me, when we came here. Card number 3, the Oracle card. Do something to change your energy, it says. Dance with life. There is a sacred rhythm going on in life. I'm always telling people, try and meditate in a regular part of your day. So it doesn't have to be the same time on the clock every day. For example, one of my meditation times is right after I feed the chickens, and that can be a different time every day, but it's always the same spot in the rhythm of my worldly life when I tune in, or really do my best, make the effort to tune in, I guess, to the higher realms and what I'm hearing. And as you actually go along with that rhythm of life, which is so important, because spirit, divine spirit, there's no time up there. It's something we've invented to make things work out in our lives. That's, you know, it's a fact of life, really, a fact of human life on this earth. Whatever we do, whatever we try to manifest is an eternal thing, you know, and it's so important to keep that in mind, I guess, because we are all really dogged by time. You know, time always seems to be running out in one way or another. But just, you know, take some of that time, forget that it's time, and just dance with life, okay? Because as you weave from side to side in your dancing, you're always taking in new energies, seeing things in new ways, Scorpio, and that is ever so positive. Now we come to my own sign. I am a Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sagittarius, and I'll get a free ride on this. I'm actually going to pick all 3 cards at this point. I've decided that is the way I want to do it. So decide, are you going to pick card 1, card 2 or card 3, or are you going to pick all 3? It's entirely up to you. Let me hold them up so you can see what's going on here. Okay, card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. Which one are you drawn to, or are you drawn to all 3 of them? That's the question. If you're drawn to number 1, it's the 3 of Swords. Here we go with the 3 of Swords. A confusing image here. The swords are, you know, much to do with the mind. I often say decision making. It's not just decision making, particularly that's what's being given to me by my guides about this card for Sagittarians. It's kind of, it's the kind of confusion which ends up bringing us the answers we need if we try and, you know, not just focus on the confusion, but focus on everything that's going on and decide what really means something to us. It's important to do that. That's where the energy is going with this card for the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, it is the number 3, quite a magical number there, but very early in the day. So it's game on, Sagittarius. That is really what's happening. But, you know, this looks to me a bit like a TV, the way they've drawn it here, the way David De Angelis, whatever his name is, has actually drawn this card. Looks like a sort of crazy, earthy, kind of witchy television screen, and there's something showing on the screen, and it's an egg shape of light, so it's fertile. Things are going to happen, but it looks mightily confusing. That's card number 1. Card number 2 for Sagittarius, and it's come up reversed. I'm just going to flip it round again. It's the 4 of Wands here. And we've got this amazing Merkaba pattern in the background. Or is it? That's the wrong word. It's called something. I can't remember. You know what this pattern is. I don't know. Gosh, I'm sure you know what this pattern is and what it means to you. Looks a lot like the Wheel of Fortune in some ways, actually, because it's all about circles. But it's many wheels of fortune overlapping. The ones are all about getting things done, Saggy. And 4 is a real nice square number, okay? But it came out upside down, so think about grounding yourself, okay? You don't lose any spiritual progress by grounding yourself. The angels will only really let you get flying if you're suitably grounded, so it's important to remember that. See the tree I've got in my picture here, and all around me as I look out the windows, actually, there are trees. There is as much of the tree below ground as there is above ground. but below ground it takes the form of roots and it anchors it down. And the more roots it's got and the more solid it is, the longer it'll stand, the bigger it'll grow, and the further it will go. Okay, so get yourselves grounded, Saggies. I did say I picked all three, so I'm going to take that on board. I really am. We've got two characters here. This to me suggests that, you know, you're walking along your path, Sagittarius, and the divine influences are walking with you. You know, it's like that poem Footprints, that story Footprints. For Sagittarius, card number 3 is this one. What is it? It says break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. I thought it said rewiring the future for a second there, actually, but it's not. It's rewrite the future, which might take the form of rewiring it. You know, that's often how it goes. But take another look, not just at what you're trying to achieve in the present time, Sagittarius, but where you actually hope to end up. Now, spiritually, we don't really get to know what that is until our time comes and we go back into eternity, into, as it were, the afterlife. And although we can reincarnate there, the soul is constantly there in the afterlife. There is a part of every one of us in eternity right now. We are all eternal souls. That's a fact. So even though it's hidden from our earthly eyes, where we're actually supposed to be spiritually, we find out as we go along. And the future often seems to be set in stone. A lot of people feel they're not going to be able to change anything, that however much manifestational success you might actually have, Sagittarius, there's always that feeling that some things are maybe not set in stone, but they're definitely kind of written in the stars, and there's nothing we can do about it. Allow yourself to rewrite that story, Sagittarius. Just let yourself be free with it. Let that work for you. So what have we got for the sign of Capricorn? You'd think I'd know them by now. I do know them by now, but I'm forever forgetting. Quick drink of tea. And oh, I just put some logs on the fire. It's freezing cold for a second there. It's warming up again now, though. All cycles, you see. So, Capricorn, what have we got for the sign of Capricorn? Here are 2 tarot cards. And let's get an oracle card as well, just to put that in the mix. You can pick 1, you can pick 3. Oh, come here. It's entirely up to you. They do stick together, these Work Your Light cards by Rebecca Campbell, I've got to say. They need a good wash, that's what it's all about. So Capricorn, is it going to be card 1, card 2, card 3, or all 3 of these cards? First card for the sign of Capricorn, it's the 9 of Swords here. So sword energy, again, it's the kind of thought process that's going on that can get pretty manic, actually, particularly around the 9 of Swords, because we're nearly at the 10 of completion. That's the truth, Capricorn. When we get close to completion, it's, oh my gosh, it's actually going to happen. It's actually going to work. OMG, what am I going to do? You know, how am I actually going to handle this? When we get to this point, the 9 of Swords, many people, sadly, give up on what they're trying to achieve. Now, that sometimes is a positive thing, because sometimes with all this thinking, with all this thought process and kind of mental turmoil, we see something in our plans which isn't adding up, which isn't making sense, and which isn't pointing us in the direction we need to go. But I would never give up completely, particularly not if you drew this card today, Capricorn, because there might be 1 or 2 things that you need to sort out. There might be 3 or 4 things you need, a dozen things. It's unlimited what you might need to sort out, because there is a lot of turmoil going on in this card. But you are so close to the prize that you've been keeping your eyes on, Capricorn. That's card number 1. Card number 2 for Capricorn, it's the Ace of Cups. Wow, loads of alchemy, fantastic. We've got the 1,000-petal lotus flower symbol going on at the bottom here. Now, that's something we associate with the crown chakra, which is at the very top of the human body. So really we're looking at the Stargate chakra here. The soul star chakra. We're really looking at what goes on beyond the mind, beyond human life, beyond our experience of life. So think outside the box, that's the thing to do here. Cups is what do you want, what do you desire. You're really closer to it than you could possibly imagine, actually, when you get the Ace of Cups. Very, very good news. But it's up into a new realm, a new way of thinking. That's really what's happening here, Capricorn. And you just need to kind of make the ascension. This looks to me like a trampoline. It's suggesting the energy of a trampoline here. So there's something to uplift you. But there is this cup standing on it, this amazing chalice with light spilling out of it. So your cup overfloweth, Capricorn. It's just a question of what you're going to do with it. But do really focus on the spiritual, focus on the cosmic and what the universe is telling you. And it's bound to be telling you something in your dreams, just in the way the flow of life is going. Somehow, somewhere, the universe is trying to guide you here. And it's very positive. It's the Ace of Cups. What more can I say? How much more positive can it get? Card number 3, trust your path. And if you picked all 3, these go together very well. Trust your path says, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So, do think outside the box, okay, Capricorn, because you will be supported. The universe is good like that. The universe will keep carrying you in the right direction somehow. We've got a character here who's kind of wandering in the desert, but it looks a very comfortable kind of pinky, bluey kind of, quite a happy sort of desert to be wandering in. Not the sort of desert where you get absolutely burned to death by the sun. There's an oasis right at the front here, and there are more watering points all the way along the path. So, you know, even though you can't see the way ahead, Capricorn, you're going to be supported. And that tells you you can make your wildest dreams come true somehow. Maybe not immediately, but the journey is going in the right direction. That's the real important thing to remember. So, Aquarius, what have we got for the sign of Aquarius? Okay, 2 tarot cards. And as I've been doing all through this string of readings, which, by the way, I'm doing on the 15th of January. It's a Friday, 2021. But if you're drawn to it in the future, the best time is now for you, okay? You've been drawn to this for a reason. I'm absolutely sure of that. So, Aquarius, okay. So we have, let's get them lined up. Card number 1, card number 2, card number 3 for the sign of Aquarius. Do you want to pick 1? Do you want to pick 2? Do you want to pick all 3? Let's see what we've got. First one for Aquarius, card number 1, it's the King of Pentacles. Very good news. This is looking like abundance is really a happening thing for you at this time. We've got the pentacle coming down from the clouds, really picking out the top point of the pentacle, which symbolises the divine guidance around the other 4 points, which are the 4 elements, earth, air, fire and water. They're all working together. It's all coming together. So much so that you can ride side saddle on this amazing stone mythical legendary creature here that looks a bit like a horse. And there's a ladder, you know, you've climbed this ladder, you're up there sitting proudly at the top of the ladder. What are you actually going to do with that, eh? Because, you know, happy ever after means that progress is still happening, but you're in a real good place, Aquarius. That's card number 1. Card number 2 is Major Arcana number 6. It is the Lovers. Okay, so if you're trying to manifest love into your life, this looks pretty good too, Aquarius. But you're really going to need to use that Aquarian outreach, that great outreach of the mind that Aquariuses are so good at. You're going to need to engage that, and you're really going to need to engage with the higher realms. We've got 2 people coming together here, but look, there's a spiritual character up above with its arms raised, and this is how 2 people, or just the concept of love coming into a thing, is so uplifting, is so good at making things happen. We've got a lot of fire showing up in this card. It's a very fiery image, but there's also a lot of water, so we've got a real good balance going on there, and that is what the best of love is all about. Card number 3, I can hear a tractor coming, okay, and it's delivering logs, so excuse me, back in a tick. Right, where were we? Card number 3 for Aquarius. Got enough logs for a good couple of weeks there, so that's nice. Card number 3 for Aquarius. The Sisterhood of the Rose. Lovely card, lovely energy with these cards actually. Very kind of powerful and positive. Aquarius, Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. And I've got filthy fingers from handling logs now. Oh dear. Should have stopped and washed my hands, but there you go. That would increase my personal beauty in one way, wouldn't it, if I had clean hands? And that's the thing to focus on. But, you know, you really increase your own personal beauty just by believing in it, okay? Believing that you have that, because we are all beautiful souls. We very rarely actually feel like beautiful souls. Unfortunately, that's the nature of this life. There are always voices trying to pull us back, to draw us down, and to kind of just draw our energy down, I suppose, as much as everything. But here we've got this beautiful light pointing up here, showing the way to, you know, the skies, the higher realms, and essentially success for the higher self. So, sisterhood of the rose. There are others around you, Aquarius, who will come in and help. Spirit people, spirit beings, the angels, of course, but friends in this earth as well. Friends on this earth, members of our soul tribe. We all have a soul tribe, you know. So connect with those members of your soul tribe. If you're starting to see darkness in people, just step aside. I'm not saying, you know, you don't have to cut them out of your life or anything like that. Unless you really feel you need to cut the cord with people, in which case do it. That's what this card is, you know, that really helps with the energy that this card is trying to bring into your life at the moment. But essentially, just kind of step away from the darkness. Be with people who uplift you. Be with people who believe in your beauty and their own beauty as well. Because beauty is, you know, it's an inward thing, isn't it? But, it's a soul level thing. Excuse me, I dropped the cards there. So that brings us, friends, to the sign of Pisces. I love this mug. It's a traditional kind of, it's a Celtic place in Scotland, and you can see the rings on the ground there, of some kind of spirituality, some kind of mysticism that we no longer know about or have access to. And on the back it says, believe in yourself, everything else will follow, love and light. And this is a present from a viewer of some of my videos that I put on Facebook. Very inspirational mug, that, actually. I love to drink out of it. And guys, do follow me on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. The links are down there to that and other good things, like if you want to buy me a coffee or buy the channel a coffee, there's a link there to ko-fi.com/Andy's Readings, which is my my coffee page. And thanks to everyone who's contributed to that, actually. It's a great help. Really makes me feel appreciated, actually, and it allows the channel to kind of keep on growing, to get better equipment, better lighting, generally make a more professional job of things, which I'm trying hard to learn to do. So that only leaves us, friends, with the sign of Pisces. Let's just pull out an oracle card for the sign of Pisces. Okay, right. I can see the oracle card already. It's an old friend. But guys, you've got to decide which card you want before you see them. So is it going to be card 1, card 2, card 3? Are you going to pick all 3? Are you going to pick 2 of them? It's entirely up to you. But the oracle card always gives us a bit extra to go with either or both of these two, so maybe that's a good one to pick. Pisces, anyway, the very first card for you, card number 1, is the 5 of Pentacles. So we're seeing great abundance here. We're seeing great healing up in the heavens and also down on the ground as well. And that's the nature of healing. It's a flow. It's the universe trying to balance itself, as I so often talk about. And that balance is a real important thing to try and tap into, to tune into, to attune your thoughts to, because things are always trying to balance themselves. That's how kind of weather travels from one place to the next. That's why it rains when it's dry. That's why it goes dry after it's rained. That's what makes a rainbow happen, actually. It's the forces of the earth trying to balance themselves. And the forces of the universe are always trying to balance themselves, all of them. The universe balancing with earth, balancing with our hearts and minds, us balancing our hearts with our minds. It's all about balance, okay? And that is what's really going to make the difference as you go forward with trying to bring abundance into your life. But it's the 5 of Pentacles. As I was saying, it's like halfway through that journey. So where is the next lot of abundance coming from? Well, nowhere if you don't acknowledge the abundance you've already got. So it's a bit of a count your blessings card, okay? And I know that for a lot of people at the moment, particularly, well, always for quite a few people, but a lot of people at the moment are in a place where it feels like there's no abundance and there's no abundance going to come. But if you can take a look at your life and decide what's good about it, what kind of good things you're able to stand on top of, to reach higher, then you're going to draw in the next level of abundance. That's card number 1 for Pisces. Card number 2 for Pisces, number 0, the Sacred Clown. This is essentially the Fool, okay? But I'm giving it out as the Sacred Clown. When a tarot deck is actually designed with different names or different visions, then it's been designed that way for a reason. Spirit have allowed it to come into the world for a reason, and it's got that name for a reason, so that's what I go with. And I know this, I still bear the scars. I was trying to help a friend of mine get a deck published, and wow, it was something of a journey through hell. It really wasn't easy. So I know decks only come along if they're really, really meant to. Okay, so Sacred Clown, this is like the Fool's Journey. This is the beginning of things. You can see this character looks as if he's not sure what he's about, really. But he's essentially standing tall, you know. He's ready to take the next steps. And that's what really matters about number 0, you know. It's right at the very, very beginning. So Pisces, if you drew this card, this is where it's at for you. If you drew all 3, then this is significant. This is the heart of the matter, okay? Things are starting. Things are beginning. Don't let anyone put you off totally. Take advice, certainly. Listen to that advice and go with that advice, because that advice comes to you for a reason. Just like I was saying, card decks come to you for a reason. But it's the beginning. There's purple everywhere and there's gold everywhere. So maybe some healing needs to happen before you can stretch up into the gold. But it's golden up there somewhere, Pisces. It's coming towards you. So reach out for it and grab it, because it's yours. Card number 3 for the sign of Pisces. Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. This card is Inner Temple. And this card is becoming something of a friend of this channel. It comes up all the time. Out of all the cards in this deck, this is the one that comes up most often. So this is what we all really need to be reminded of. Not just Pisces, but it is the Pisces card. So it's got a special message for you. And look at this. We've got this beautifully constructed temple here. Constructed well, except to say there's no roof on it, and that actually is perfect for a temple, unless it's raining, I guess. But this is a spiritual temple, and it doesn't rain in your spiritual thoughts, not in a wet way anyway. So visualize yourself walking down this corridor. Okay, we've got these 2 kind of twin sisters here, looking side to side and drawing in and drawing on all the influences that are going on around you at this time. But the thing to do is walk straight down the corridor until you get to this thing this window. It looks like a church window, and it's done that way for a reason. It really is a temple. The inner temple is something that's a very real part of all our hearts and of all our minds, absolutely for sure. And although we don't kind of see it with our everyday eyes in this world, it's a place we go in our dreams. It's a place we go in our meditation. So Pisces, meditate, visualize, believe. Let yourself daydream. Let yourself go with the flow of all that. Okay, friends, so that wraps up this week's star sign readings. I'll be back next Friday, possibly even next Saturday. You never really know, because I have a bit of a dodgy internet connection that doesn't always work. But hopefully this one's going to make it onto YouTube on Friday. There will be more next week, next Friday, or next weekend sometime. We'll go through it again. But that's your star sign cards for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, friends, please do. My analytics tell me that about half the people who watch the videos haven't subscribed yet. So please hit that subscribe button. There's more videos coming all the time. It helps the channel massively. I cannot tell you how much it helps the channel. Thanks so much to everyone who's donated to ko-fi/Andy's Readings, which is my coffee page. There's a link to it down there. If you haven't kind of looked at it yet, please do, because there are many pictures of kind of, the countryside around my house, and I'm always going to be adding to those pictures whenever nature changes a bit or whenever there's something new to show you. You don't have to donate to see the pictures. If you would like to donate, buy me a coffee, buy the channel a coffee, go for it. It really helps. And I really, really want to say I appreciate, and I send out love and light to all of you, particularly those who've sent me a donation in recent times. It massively helps, because it's, believe it or not, it's not cheap actually making these YouTube videos. Oh, there's always stuff you've got to buy and stuff you've got to do. Anyway, I digress. Main thing is, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, friends. And, a big warm welcome to everyone who's come along in the last 2 days. There are lots of new subscribers. I am grateful and delighted to say. Big fat thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment, guys. It's always great to share the journey. More and more comments are coming in. Forgive me if I don't get back to you straight away, but I read them pretty much straight away. And I'll try and help in any way you can if you've got any questions. So whatever it is, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, visit the coffee page, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Love, light, blessings, and peace.